Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your host Muhannad Jaffal and welcome back to the Heart of the Fight podcast. This is episode 4 where we are going to be talking about the mental game. Okay? So first we're going to be talking about how what fighters may go through before a fight, what they might think on a day-to-day basis and etc. Okay? So I want to start off by saying that for the fights they are won in the mind first. Like for example, a bout you may have an amateur bout or a professional bout, that is won in your mind first before you can actually win physically. Okay, your mental strength is just as important as your physical strength because they both complement each other. Without your physical strength, your mental strength crumbles, and overall you crumble entirely. And without mental strength, but you have physical strength, your physical your like how do I say this? What do I mean? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your host Muhannad Jaffal and welcome back to the Heart of the Fight podcast. This is episode 4 where we are going to be going through the mental game. So first, what I would like to say is that for physical fights and professional or amateur fights that you may have, they are won in your mind first before they are won inside the ring. Okay? And your mental strength is just as important as your physical strength. They both complement each other. They need one another. Okay, if you have mental strength but you don't have physical strength, you will crumble and fail. But if you have physical strength but you don't have mental strength, you will crumble and fail as well. Okay, so first I want to talk about what essentially goes through my head, me personally as a fighter. So the best example I can use is the qualifiers and my actual first amateur fight I've ever had. Okay, so I want to talk about the amateur fight first because I felt like that was more important to me. So I remember before my first amateur fight, I swear, even just going to the arena or even a couple of days before, I was excited but nervous at the same time because I didn't know what to expect from my first amateur fight. I felt nerves on the day of the fight, and I read Quran. I was reading Quran on that day. I walked inside the arena or I walked inside the stadium. Okay, and the ring is not that far from me. And so what I was doing is that I was reading Quran before the fight, before my fight by a couple, just to hopefully calm myself down and to help myself succeed. Okay. Oh, and actually on a note is that when I had my first amateur fight, I actually met my opponent before the fight in the weigh-ins. So I went to go weigh in the morning at the same place where our fights were taking place, and I actually met him. And I thought at first, okay, he may be nice or something, but I didn't care. I just wanted to fight. Okay, so I fought, and yeah. So I still remember because the emotions I was feeling, the emotion that I was going through before my first fight, they were ones that I will actually never forget, and they were some of the strongest emotions I felt in my entire life, because I felt a mix of fear, nervousness, excitement, and pride at the same time, because I got to a place where I was. So you can see the flurry of emotions might cause someone to struggle and maybe stumble. Okay. The one thing actually you experience before these fights is adrenaline. Because one thing that actually benefits you during those fights is the actual adrenaline you experience, because the adrenaline essentially can nullify the pain and how does this make you feel numb to it, because your body is in basically a fight or flight situation, even though it may not be an actual street fight. It's a fight where you can still get injured in. Your body went into a mode where it wants to protect itself and exert as much as it can so you can win and escape unharmed. Okay. You face adrenaline and you basically how do I say this? You don't feel pain until after the fight. This is even in sparring. In sparring, some people can still experience adrenaline, like myself, and they don't feel pain during sparring, but after this, the pain starts to kick in. Okay. And actually, what went through my head before the fight is that, I think I remember the night before my fight is that I tried to give myself self-talk, telling myself, you've worked hard for a year and a half, you've trained every day, you've hit the bags, you've sparred, and you are ready for this fight. You will go in and you will win, and you will not let yourself lose. So I tried to, how do I say this, talk my intentions and dreams into life essentially before actually trying and performing. And in the end, I still lost, but it's okay. We'll be talking about that later. All right. What essential things that you need to do during a fight so that you can actually have a mental advantage over your opponent? Stay in control. Don't let the flurry of emotions drive you into a state where you cannot control yourself, because then you start making mistakes. You start making mistakes, your opponent will see it and exploit them. Okay. Um, you need to listen to your corner while you are fighting, both in amateur and professional. Your coach and your corner will guide you through the fight, because don't forget, your coach has more experience than you do. He's probably experienced this and seen it more than you have. So whenever your coach from your corner tells you, like for example, throw this punch or exploit this, listen, because that coach is qualified. He is qualified. He took you to this stage to fight, so he knows what he is doing. So listen to your coach and just be coachable in general, even during a fight. Don't be ignorant and believe, oh, I can do this all myself. No, you need your coach to help you in at some point so you can keep on going. This is for both pros and for amateurs. But for amateurs, you may experience it more. You may experience the coaches actually like commanding you and telling you to throw these certain combos or whatever more than pros. Okay. So you need to actually adjust your. So this is like during a fight. All of the points I covered are during a fight, and some were before. Okay. So during a fight, you also need to adjust your strategy in real time, because you may experience some changes coming from your opponent. Okay. Because you can't guarantee your opponent is gonna fight a certain way. They might end up changing their style in the middle of the fight. So what you need to be decisive, adaptive, and persistent. So like you need to for persistency, like okay, I faced a problem with the opponent using this kind of style. Okay, I get over it and I use this to counter and get through it. You need to adapt to their style. It may be difficult to like fight against it, but you can manage it and counter and fight against it. And you need to be decisive. Like you need to be able to make the decisions quickly, because like you don't try and overthink too much while you're fighting. Like you need to have like one benefit that fighters can have is muscle memory, is that their muscles and mind already know what to do, so they don't think about their next move. No, simply when they see openings, they use it, and their body basically has an instinct of its own and acts on its own and fights on its own. Okay. And after a fight, try like whatever the result may be, try and replay the moments in your head. See where you went wrong. Like what could you have done better, or what could you have avoided entirely to better the outcome of your fight. Okay. And also like just think about what went right and what went wrong, so like you can work on what went wrong and solidify what went right, so you can do it again in your next fight. Okay. Now we'll be talking about how like dealing with fear and self-doubt. Okay, so actually one fear that lots of fighters they may share is the fear of getting hit, whether it may be in sparring or in a fight. Okay. Me myself, actually, I have this, and I'm not saying this as a way to display my weakness. No, because this is some humanity. Simple. If you are scared of getting hurt or scared of something happening to you in the ring, that's okay. It just means you are human. Lots of people they have the misconception that if you are scared going into the ring or sparring, that you are weak. No, it just shows that you feel emotion and that you're not crazy. In fact, I remember when I had my qualifiers, we had a pro fighter come to the academy to do the qualifier with us, and I was talking with him while some of the fights were going on, and yeah, he actually told me this. It's like, if you are scared in sparring, or you have a fear of getting hit in sparring, then you're human. Because if you don't, you're either a psycho or you're just lying. You're just plain lying at that point. Okay. And another common fear is the fear of losing. Every fighter is scared of losing, because every fighter they can see that they have how do I say this? Is that they worked hard and they are scared of losing because they see how hard they've worked. They don't want it all to go to waste. This is normal because lots of fighters, they should actually face the fact that losing does not mean that you are a loser. Losing simply means that you may have, how do I say this, not performed the best, but you can still go through. The important thing is that, like, that you participated and you fought, because what people don't realize is that us fighters, we take risks like every day in training and in fighting, so that we can go into the ring and do what we love and box. Because that's, us fighters, we do something that lots of people would not even dare to do. So like, just stepping into the ring on its own, that's courageous enough, and that should give you some pride, because you are doing something lots of people would not want to do because of fear. But you may be facing that fear and you are still stepping in and fighting, even though you know you might lose, or you may still have the fear of losing. Okay. And one last fear, which I think may resonate and actually hit fighters the most, is the fear of letting people down. You see how hard you've worked. You see how have been specific people in your journey, and like how and how do I say this? Like, they've had a big impact, and you've seen how they've involved themselves in your journey. Like, for example, in a fight, amateur fighters and pro, they're scared of losing because they don't want to let their mom down, they don't want to let their dad down, they don't want to let their coach down. The coach, because they led them and they trained them and they taught them so that they can fight at this level, and their mom and dad because they supported them and helped them push through the hard moments. So like that's something where that, like, you shouldn't actually think too much about, because it is something real that could happen. But at the same time, you need to realize that if you lose, is that if you have a true circle of good people who actually care about you and support you, is that they will not feel down that you lost. They will feel sad, but they don't feel disappointed, or they won't feel disgusted in you, or think you're weak or something. No, they will be proud that you stepped in and you fought regardless. Okay, that is what a true circle of good people that you truly trust, and people who how do I say this, you want to make proud, looks like, is that they don't judge you if you lost, rather they praise you, not like they praise you or something, is that they commend you for stepping in and fighting regardless. So like, how you can push through these fears is that, like, you should accept the fear instead of fight it. Like, you shouldn't keep trying and say that, okay, oh no, I'm not fearful, this is just fake, no, I'm stronger than this and I'm better. No, accept it, because that fear can actually push you to fight. It can push you to be more careful, while at the same time also being more offensive. Okay. And you should try and turn your nerves into focus, because the nerves you're scared of, for example, you can use that to focus more on your opponent and help you find better openings to hit them, so that you can rack up more points and win. Okay. And one thing you should do before you fight is remind yourself of the work you did to get to that position. Think about where you started and where you sit in that current position and in that current period of time in the fight, before it, sorry. You think about, okay, I never had my first amateur fight, this is my first one, I've come a long way, I've trained hard, and I've improved myself a lot to be able to get into this position. I am proud of myself, and I am happy to be able to go inside this ring, and I'm grateful for the stuff I've achieved, and I cannot wait to give my all and fight as much as I can in this ring. Okay. So I want to now just like talk about some advice I've received from my coaches and mental toughness. Is one advice that my coaches have given me is that in sparring and in fighting, don't overthink too much. Okay, build a habit of using the muscle memory acting on its own, and essentially your body fighting on its own without your mind thinking too much. Because when you have good muscle memory for boxing, it's that your eyes, they see the opening, your body immediately takes the action and counters and fights. Okay, and you shouldn't try and like overthink too much of, oh, like I did this, I want to do this, or what if I happen if I do. No, stay in the present. Don't think about what might happen after. Like, just try and execute. Don't overthink, but still be smart and use your fight IQ properly. How do I say this? They stay disciplined under pressure. because like how do I say this, don't like my coach would say like don't let the fear get to you, and don't let yourself fall apart. Use what you've trained is like and keep yourself composed. Don't appear too nervous in front of your opponent, because that's a mistake some amateurs might make. Even myself, I appeared nervous in front of my opponent, but and that somewhat could have led to my loss. I don't know, I think. But moving aside from that, like don't let the emotions take control. You stay in control of yourself. You control your mind. Don't let the mind control you. Okay, you should have willpower to be able to control yourself, and don't let the emotions get to you too much and cause you to fall apart. No, you just stay composed, stay calm, fight, find your openings, use them, exploit them, use your fight IQ properly. Don't let the emotions take over and make you feel worthless or whatever. Okay, and trust your training. If you trust your training and you know, okay, my good and hard training will lead me to victory, then it will help you to win. Because if you believe that your training helps you and your training benefited you and your training will take you to victory, then you have basically accomplished the hardest part of the fight. You believed you can win. You believed your training will let you win. Okay? Now, let's talk about how real mental toughness is built. So, to essentially make yourself tougher mentally, you need to go through hard training. Your training shouldn't be easy. You need to experience hard training where it may be uncomfortable and where you do not want to keep on going, because you'll keep on pushing yourself so that you can perform better, and you won't let yourself rest or fail in training. Like, keep hard training and hard sparring, okay? Because you'll push your mind to be able to perform even if you're more pressured, and to perform better. Okay, you need to go through stressful rounds, maybe where you may have an opponent who, okay, there's a large skill gap between you and him, where they may have a sort of fighting style that you may not have seen or you may not have experienced. And yeah, it's like you need to try and experience the stress of being in that round, and like you feeling that, okay, you can't get around this guy's defense or style or whatever, but still at the same time you try and find the solution to be able to fight against it. Like, don't submit to the difficulty of his style in the round. Is that actually try and counter it actively. And but the thing is, yeah, it's like you experience the stress and it's pushing you to be able, and you get more experience for your actual fight, and you learn to stay calm when you're tired. When you're tired, you may rage and try and finish the fight early so that you can not fatigue yourself even more, and so you can finish the fight early. But that's not something good you should do, because you will lead the opponent to your face, essentially. Like, how do I say this? Is that when you're tired and want to finish the fight and you go battering your opponent, they see it, and they will, if they can see the what's it called, the opportunities clearly, they will exploit it. They won't wait. They will exploit it the moment they see it. Okay. One thing that, like, mindset routine, something that you can do before a fight is visualization. Visualize yourself actually winning the fight and doing good. Because listen, the mental game, when you accomplish something in the mental game, you've essentially won the physical part of fighting. That's the thing. Whenever how do I say? Because it's like I remember someone said this, that if you write down a goal, essentially or if you write down a problem, you've solved 90% of it. Same thing with fighting. If you visualize something, you basically complete 90% of it, and you are ready to how do I say this? Make that dream or goal a reality. Okay. This applies to your fighting, to your regular sports, to your studies, to your job opportunities, everything else. Okay? So, like, you see yourself perform well and you win the fight before you step in, your body will act based on it and will try and accomplish that goal and vision as much as it can, to the best of its power. Okay? You should try and keep focused keep a good steady focus before the fight and during. Okay, is that don't lose focus, is that keep yourself locked in and in a mode where you're ready to fight and where you're ready to use your mind and brain to be able to fight against someone else, and where you can counter them effectively and fight against them effectively and not let them be the better man or better woman. Okay, and control your breathing, because this also leads to your stamina being prolonged. When you have good breathing, this also applies to running, for example, because I remember is that when I try to run continuously and I have bad breathing, it never works. I would gas out and I would just walk or even stop for a bit and then keep going. But if I keep the steady breathing, where it's in through the nose and out through the mouth, that because it keeps the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, it keeps it continuous so that you don't build up too much CO2 and you can still keep on going, and even in your fight. And also it's like when you are breathing properly, you're calming your mind down, because this helps you to feel in control of yourself and will help your stamina in both the fight and and to calm yourself down. Also, stay present in the fight. Don't think about what may happen after. Is that be in the present. Don't overthink while you're in the fight. Don't think too much about what's gonna happen later. Think about now. Think about the now. Is that don't bother yourself too much with the later or what's gonna go on later. Stay in the now. Focus on the present and what's going on and what's happening in real time on your opponent's side. Okay. Because then this leads to overthinking and will eventually can lead to your loss. Don't think too far ahead. Think in the present. Think how you're gonna win or continue fighting in the present. Okay. And now let's talk about how to handle loss. This is the last part. So when you look at loss, you shouldn't think that you are a loser. No, rather think that you are a warrior, because if you lost and you still want to fight, then you are a warrior. You don't let that loss get to you too much. You shouldn't take the loss as failure. Take it as a lesson, especially in fighting and in sparring too. When you take a look at your loss, you can study what you did wrong and improve, so that you can perform even better the next time you may do that you may spar or you may fight. So you think about or remember what did you do wrong or what could you have done better, so that you could have had a better outcome and learn from that. So for example, for me, is that I underestimated the pace of my first amateur fight, and that led to my loss. That also led to my loss because I was fighting slowly. My opponent was fighting fast. Okay, so and I took this and I realized. So then I was like, okay, next fight I'm gonna be high paced, ferocious, and I'm not gonna be too steady. I'm gonna be highly active, because then that will give me an equal shot against my opponent. So you can see how you can simply just use simple maybe behaviors that you could have done that you did in the fight that made you lose, and learn from them. Okay, and don't let one bad moment define your journey. So don't let the sight of seeing your opponent's hand raised instead of yours make you feel like your journey went to waste. No, because also is that Allah gives the things to you if they benefit you. How do I say this? Okay, Allah grants you something, but He knows if it may be good for you. So if you lose, or if you lose, is that don't think you're destined to lose forever. No, Allah will eventually, inshallah, will give you a victory that you will be filled with pride and joy because of it. So you will be granted a victory, and how do I say this? The loss will be there just so you can turn back to Allah and pray to Him even more, so you can win in your next fight. And just Also, don't let the bad moment think that you make you feel worthless, or make you feel as if that you haven't accomplished anything. Because no, when you fight and simply stepping into a ring, you've accomplished a lot in your own terms. People may not see it, but you do. You can see the value of the stuff that you do. And yeah, so in short is that don't let nerves control you too much in your fight. Don't think too much ahead. Stay in the present and just do your best in all of your fights, okay? And to wrap things up, I just want to say is that strong body, strong mind, no shortcuts. If you have a strong body, you need to have a strong mind. There's no other way to work around it, okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into episode 4 of the Heart of the Fight podcast, where we covered like nerves and the mental game of fighting. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I cannot wait to see you guys back here for episode 5. Thank you for tuning in to the Heart of the Fight podcast. And see you next time for episode 5. Muhannad Jaffal signing out. Assalamu alaikum.